Hello. Today we're doing a VR for Drew the Vintage Legacy. He would like us to show some items from a franchise player that played for one team, one major league team their entire career. My choices come from Minnesota point of view. I'm looking at the old time Minneapolis Millers and St. Paul Saints, a couple of American association teams from about 1900 up until around the time the Twins moved to town in 61. Um, the Millers and Saints had, I've got a list of about 18 Hall of Famers that played their minor league ball here. And a couple of them primarily were managers, so I left them off the list. There was players like Orlando Cepeda, Ray Dandridge, George Kelly, Billy Herman, Monty Irvin, Willie Mays, Rube Waddell, Zach Hoyt Wilhelm, Roy Campanella, Duke Snyder, Lefty Gomez, and Leo Durocher. Uh, and the reason none of those were selected were because a lot of them were played on other teams. Roy Campanella played several years in the Negro Leagues, which is now, by definition, a major league. And Lefty Gomez finished off with the Washington Senators, I believe, 1 year. Um, Willie Mays, of course, finished his career with the Mets. But there's two guys that stood out. One or three guys actually. I don't have any cards or memorabilia of Red Faber. He was played back 1911, 1912 for the Minneapolis Millers. The first guy had a great 1960 season with the Minneapolis Millers. He was 20 years old. He batted 339 for the Millers that year. I believe they went to the minor league playoffs. Um, Not positive, but they were in the playoffs quite a few years with that when they were a Boston farm club. So that first player that made notice in 1960 for the Minneapolis Millers, Carl Yastrzemski. And I've seen several programs and such over the years with Carl Yastrzemski in them from that year. Some were signed, some weren't. Here's a 1969 O-Pee-Chee Deckle Edge. But he went on, took over for um, Ted Williams in left field. It was like um, one of the great turnovers from one player to the other, like Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Red Sox had Ted Williams to Carl Yastrzemski. Here's Carl's 1964 Topps Giant. Of course, he's the batting king. They talk about it there. And in 1967, he almost single-handedly led the Red Sox to the World Series, won the Triple Crown. They lost to Bob Gibson and the Cardinals in 7 games. Carl had couple home runs in that series too. Just a phenomenal player. I got to see him take batting practice for about a half hour on his last trip to Minnesota. He was out there all by himself, just hitting balls. I kind of think that was planned. And then he played in the game afterwards. So that was the first player. Second player, show my favorite set, the exhibit cards, Ted Williams. He had a great year for the Millers as a 19-year-old in 1938. Ted batted .366, hit 43 homers, and drove in 142 runs. And that was in 148 games. He also scored 130 runs. So he had quite the good year in Minnesota. And I've seen like team photos with Ted on them. And a few programs, his programs are a little harder to find than the Carl Yastrzemski's. And Ted went to serve our country, so he missed 4 or 5 years in the service, and just think what his numbers would have been if he had not served his country. Here's another item, Ted Williams, 1950 Complete Baseball. And there's a little Stan Musial. He always also played his entire career with one team, unlike Ralph Kiner on the other corner. And yes, there's a little rounded corner, little character on that magazine. That's a great picture of Ted there, I think. Here's another Complete Baseball. This one's from 1954. Complete Baseball. There's Ted again. Ted, will he make peace with the public? It's a great cover. And the last item I have for you, no, I'm not pulling out the shotgun shells for this video, the Ted Williams shotgun shells. This is the original baseball magazine from 1956. This is artwork of Ted Williams. Will 1956 be leap year for the Red Sox? Mighty Ted plus another rookie. These are pretty great magazines to read. Learned a lot of baseball knowledge reading old publications from the 40s and 50s. So that's my VR for Drew the Vintage Legacy. And please check out his channel. I'm sure if you, like everyone says, if you're subscribed to mine, you probably know Drew. Great storyteller, great channel. Please check him out and subscribe if you're not subscribed. And everybody have a great week. Thank you.